Hi guys, today I'm going to be updating you on my melons. This is Jubilee. It's the biggest watermelon in my watermelon patch right now. This is a variety that can grow to a pretty decent size. It's not a giant watermelon by any means, but it's a really good size watermelon, and it's a really good one to grow if you're just wanting to impress your family at a picnic or something like that. A couple of years ago, I grew a pretty big Jubilee watermelon. I think it was around 40 pounds. Don't quote me on that. It might have been 35 to 40, somewhere in there. I did make a video when I harvested that watermelon, and if you'd like to see it, I'll put a link up on the screen. The next watermelon that we're going to take a look at is Congo. I grew this variety for the first time last year, and I really liked it. It's definitely one of my favorites at this point. I feel like this variety runs just a little bit later than some of the other varieties that I've grown in the past. Last year when I grew it, it was the last plant to produce fruit, and the same thing happened this year. So I expect that I'll be harvesting this one just a little bit later than my other watermelons, which is okay with me because it's better to space them out anyway. Getting too many watermelons at once and not knowing what to do with them is a good problem to have, but I'd prefer to harvest them a little more spaced out if I could. There's two of these growing in my garden. This is the biggest one. The next one is Yellow Fleshed Moon and Stars. I really love this variety. It's so pretty. There's a few different versions of Moon and Stars out there that you can buy. I've only actually grown two versions of Moon and Stars, just the regular round red fleshed Moon and Stars and this one. Between the two of those, this one is definitely my favorite. The yellow fleshed version definitely has more moon and stars on the rind than the regular round version of Moon and Stars. This one is Charleston Gray, and I'm really not impressed with this watermelon at all. I probably won't grow it again. This plant only produced one fruit, which usually is not a horrible thing. I don't have a problem with it. Where I live, my plants tend to average between 1 and 3 fruits per plant, 1 and 2 being a lot more common than 3. Occasionally, I'll get 3 on one plant. But when I have a plant that's only growing one fruit, usually that watermelon is going to be a really good size. With all of the energy from the plant being diverted to one fruit, it's usually going to be a really nice sized watermelon. And this one is looking pretty small, especially for how long it's been growing. And I'm not saying that you guys shouldn't try Charleston Gray. Maybe it's just not suited to my soil type and my climate. There is a watermelon that I've grown quite often called Alibaba. It looks pretty much just like the Charleston Gray, and I'm going to stick to growing that one. It's always very vigorous in my garden. The next variety is Orange Tendersweet. I've never grown this variety before. It appears that it's a round watermelon. I thought it was going to be an oblong one, but that's okay. There's 2 of these growing out here in the garden, and like the name implies, this is an orange-fleshed watermelon. I just hope it's going to be as good as Orange Glow, but we'll see. And honestly, I've not had a bad tasting watermelon. They're all really good, as long as you pick them when they're ripe. You guys might remember that I planted some cantaloupes. I've been having trouble growing cantaloupes for the past couple of years for different reasons. This year, my cantaloupes got a disease called bacterial wilt. Bacterial wilt affects cucumbers and melons. This is a disease that is spread by the cucumber beetle. I've had it on cucumbers in the past. This is my first time seeing it on a melon. In the heat of the day, it's normal to see wilting on your plants. But with bacterial wilt, the wilt doesn't go away at night. It doesn't go away no matter how much water you give the plant. And eventually all the leaves will wilt and die. This plant was probably about a quarter of the way dead before I just went ahead and pulled it up. These cantaloupes were not going to be ripe probably till the end of August, and I don't think the plant would have made it that long. And it's really unfortunate. I had a couple of nice looking cantaloupes on it, so again, this is going to be a bad cantaloupe year for me. Here is my Bush Sugar Baby watermelon that I'm growing on my deck. There's this one, and there's another one behind it. This one is the biggest so far. I grew this variety a couple of years ago, and I really did like the flavor. It was a good one. This is the Cahill Watermelon growing in another pot on my deck. There are 2 Cahill watermelons on this one plant. Honestly, I wish I would have just culled this down to 1 watermelon in this pot, because this was growing and it seems to have stopped, but I don't know, it might get going again. A lot of times watermelons will grow really fast, and this one has seemed to have fizzled out a little bit, but we'll see. It's not going to be ready to harvest for quite a while, so hopefully it gets more size on it. That's all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know how your watermelons are doing if you're growing them. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.